Yeah.
Because I don't have any meetings for the library board for December.
It was a long meeting.
Your next meeting is it next month?
Here.
Before the weekend of the movie night,
Yeah, August 6th, I think we said.
weekend of 13th, yeah, so I believe it is the 6th. The 8th.
7
It was 6th.
7 o'clock.
Yeah. 7 o'clock.
Wonder if we can just shift that TV a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you guys can see it, eh?
I mean, I want you to have a good view, but
Okay, come and pull it. I don't want to,
just the TV itself. Perfect.
perfect.
Yeah. that works. Through this door?
You could-
No. We'll have to go
Oh,
around.
you go around. If you want to do a loop. There's not over there. Yeah, it's down over here. Come back in here.
Oh, yeah, I gotta come this way.
Yes, through the gate.
Oh, I thought there was a washroom in here.
Mhm.
No. Okay, so that's okay.
Got a pile of firefighters. Application. Like,
Yes.
I know, I was looking at that, I was like, whoa. Well, that's good. They were getting a little low there.
Jane, can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, that's our smoothest hookup yet, Andre.
Yes,
Good job.
I'm getting a pro at this.
Yeah.
Need a new IT check.
So good evening, everybody, and welcome to our council meeting of Tuesday, July 12th. Looks like it's now 7 p.m. So I would call the meeting to order, both virtually and in person. I trust that our broadcasting systems are all up and in order.
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you. So on that, then I would take a mover and a seconder to open the meeting. Moved by Councillor Lagasse, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that this meeting open at 7:01 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Our last meeting was June 28th. There's minutes from that meeting in our package. If they're in order, I'd take a mover and a seconder to accept those minutes. Moved by Councillor Foisey, seconded by Councillor Viancore, that the minutes of the regular council meeting held June 28th, 2022 be adopted as circulated. Any issues with the minutes? All in favor? Carried. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Pretty light agenda with not much there of financial substance, so I assume none. No presentations or delegations. Doesn't look like there's minutes or reports from any of the committees that I'm aware of. Is that correct, Clerk Gagne? I don't think there was any
No
committee
minutes.
meetings during this period. No. Okay. I don't know if maybe the
No.
councillors want to say a word about Canada Day. It was a very successful event. Yes.
I'm happy to speak. So it was my first Canada Day experience in Bonfield, and I was pleasantly surprised at the turnout and just how much the community is enjoying to come back to events. I thought, given even the bit of sporadic rain, the barbecue was well attended, and the music and the entertainment was great. Fireworks were unbelievable. So I think everyone had a great day. I really enjoyed myself. So well done, Andre and team.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got a comment on the team too, and great job once again. Yeah, it was a bit of rain, but I think everybody had a good time, and music was good, and fireworks were awesome. So, and a duck, well, my little duck didn't come in.
Yeah, mine neither.
It was a good day.
Okay, very good. Yes, it was the fireworks is the ones I got the most comment on, all positive related to it. A bit of concern about the one we had go off at ground level and whether everybody was okay in that regard, but I hadn't heard anything bad, so I'm assuming that all turned out all right there, and it was a good day overall. Reports of non-municipal committees and boards. Phenom, there's been a communique come out today from them in our email. Conservation Authority, have they had a meeting since our last meeting?
We had a special meeting last Thursday regarding the ski hill, and I think we're off for July, and we'll be picking up again in August.
Okay, thank you. Castleholm, as I mentioned earlier, and will be for the foreseeable future, a project under construction. Point of note, Jamie Lowry has announced his retirement quite some time ago from Castleholm, and is now running for North Bay City Council. So that's interesting. No notices of motion. There's no bylaws. So now we're to the point of disbursements already.
I have a presentation.
We have a presentation.
Yeah, well, report from the nonprofit seniors housing. We had a meeting.
Oh, okay. Yes, we need to add that to
It wasn't
our,
on the agenda there, so
yeah, no, we need to add that to our list
I'm
of
the rep there and he had a meeting.
groups. Okay,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
So we had a meeting on July 7th. It has been established that as the township representative. I am a non-voting member on this board. I will not be declaring any pecuniary interest when performing my duties as a counselor or as a planning advisory board member. If and when matters pertaining to the community nonprofit seniors housing Bonfield comes up for consideration. The board members are Philippe Poitras, President, Mary Pocket, Vice President, Jessica Dion, Treasurer, Lisa Lau, Secretary, Margot Lescu, Director, Darlene Hutt, Director, and myself as a representative. And the others are Keith Harriman, Project Manager, David Butler, Finances, and John Demise, Discon Group. Report from Discon on design draws, lands, etc. Site plans were presented, the drawings and all that, and all the structural components will be completed by the end of July. He met with CEO Walker and Planning Manager Green and advised that they were pretty much have the green light. They want to know the road spec because they have to do the grading on the lot for drainage purposes. And let's see there. And I believe that's it.
Okay, thank you. See, there's a couple of questions. Councillor Ryancore first.
We had a meeting last night for the rec committee, if you wanted to hear something. And I just want to mention about the fire truck that we won the bid on.
Oh,
That
yes.
was, we're waiting to hear from the cost of getting it here, and the bid was in the 27.5, I believe, plus applicable taxes, of which I think it was around 30,000.
The bill for it's in our,
We're still, we're gonna have a
disbursements.
fire. Okay, yeah.
That's good. My question was
Okay.
with respect to Council. Place.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you want me to go
Okay.
ahead, Your Worship?
yeah, yes, please.
So was it the intention to be a non-voting member on that as a municipal rep? And the reason I ask is I know that there was some concern that as a municipal rep that you would have a conflict of interest, but I think it might be worth the discussion and or looking into it because I think as the municipal representative, you don't necessarily have a conflict of interest on matters that come before council because you're a council rep on a committee. We all represent various committees. I mean, Councilor Lagasse is with the Conservation Authority, and I don't believe she has to declare a conflict if a matter of the Conservation Authority is before us. So I just am concerned that if it's a non-voting member, is there a true value to having a council rep on that committee?
Just, I'm there to report what's going on there, so. I take part in the discussion, but
I don't
that
recall.
was a question that was asked.
Right.
I asked, why am I not voting on it?
I'm not sure what the intention was. I'm not, if anybody's clear.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Just a liaison, or why wouldn't he? Yeah.
Mhm.
It was my impression that the appointment would have voting rights on the board because it was filling a vacancy that had sat there for a while too. So it's news to me that it's not a voting member. We can research their
I'm fine with
bylaws
that.
and check our notes there to see what's happened there.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, on the fire truck thing, that's a successful bid on the tanker, and the logistics of getting it here needs to be sorted out. I had a short conversation with Ann, the Public Works Manager, yesterday related to some efforts she was making related to finding sources to have it hauled here, which just weren't mathematically working out at all. And the strategy, just from what she told me, probably the best one is for firefighters to go and get it and bring it back. So unsure now exactly where that sits. Dave Vieira was, the deputy chief, was working on that a little bit last I heard. Okay, so we're moving then into disbursements. And I would take a mover and a seconder to bring the disbursements to the table, and then we could entertain any questions. Moved by Councillor Corbett and seconded by Councillor Viancore. So before I read the motion and all the figures, I would ask for any questions related to the disbursements. Councillor Corbett?
I see listed in general government, the CAO mileage expense of $390 without details. Do we have any details as to what that travel pertained to?
It would be travel expenses from Cobalt to Bonfield and return for the weeks that he was here.
And that's his home residence?
Yes.
So I guess my point would be, I don't believe that was ever part of an employment contract that we would be reimbursing the mileage to and from a home location. I don't think that's the intent of our mileage policy either. So just raising some concerns with that mileage expense claim.
Yes, I also, on a number of occasions, had raised that point of that expense. And in the past, without it being maybe flagged by me or others in the disbursements, it was compensated, but that doesn't mean it needs to continue to be compensated. So I would support having that invoice withheld from this round of disbursements if there's consensus on that.
Has it
Councillor
not been
Gaston?
paid as today?
Pardon?
Sorry.
No,
I
go
was
ahead.
just asking if it's been dispersed as of today's date. It's not.
It's a check,
Okay.
so it can be voided if that is council's wishes.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Legacy, you
The
had a
motion
question?
for that?
Yes, I agree with that, with Councillor Corbett. And also, I've noticed a lot of expenses, not only this disbursement, but the disbursements before, especially the AMCTO conference. Is it possible to get a copy of those expenses to see what was spent? Is it possible to get a copy?
I direct that question to our recording clerk in that what you're seeking is the expense claim form or something to that
Expense
effect?
claim forms for the whole conference, yes.
Okay. I'm certain that can
I
be
can-
provided, not
Provide
at-
that.
not at the moment, but in the near future, yes.
That'd be great, thank you.
Okay. So do we have general consensus then that the mileage line item there is going to be withheld for tonight? From
Do we
the,
have a motion for that?
I agree.
Yeah, I concur.
okay, no, it's just a matter of well, it could be subtracted from the motion, I guess, because it's under general government. We could just subtract that amount. Or we could do a separate motion if you like. What's the preference of council?
I have no preference. I'm fine either way.
Whatever. Subtract it.
Okay. I think just for the sake of the motion, I'll mathematically deduct that amount from general government line item then. And it'll show as a reduced amount, and I'll declare that amount in a moment. It's $390. So your new first line item on that disbursement will be $76,703.35 after removing the $390. Is there any other questions related to the disbursements before I read the motion? There was the only one I had was the Canada Day Parks and Recreation Canada Day final payment for the Reptile Adventure Camp. Final payment, was there a previous payment related to that too?
Yes, there was a deposit.
Okay.
There was a accounting error on the invoice he had first submitted, so it was considered a deposit. And this was the final payment, which included both the axe throwing competition and the reptiles in the park.
I see. Okay. Okay, that was the only question I had. So I'll read the motion then and I'll issue a last call for questions. Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Viancore, that the following disbursements be approved as prepared. All the departments, resulting in a subtotal of 100 and, oh, my number has changed there too. One moment.
185,808.59.
Thank you. So all the departments resulting in a total disbursement of $185,808.59 and payroll batches 1225 through 1227 amounting to $28,278.67 for a new total disbursement of $214,017.26, it looks like to me. Any other questions? All in favor? Carried. Correspondence and information. Municipality of Brighton related to the Draven alert. That's a request for support related to a similar announcement to an Amber Alert, but wherein if the child in question hasn't been abducted by a known person but is otherwise in danger or believed to be in danger, that this alert could still be broadcast and alert people to the hazard that may well be occurring. Is this something that council would consider entertaining?
Sure.
Yes, Councillor Corbett.
So I'm happy to entertain it and have it as a motion in front of us. I do have some questions about the confidentiality piece, but I am quite certain that the Ministry of Solicitor General and the Premier's Office and the Ontario Provincial Police will ensure anything that they are looking to alter would protect privacy as well.
Okay. So I would take a mover and a seconder to table that then. So desired. Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Viancore. Therefore be it resolved that the Township of Bonfield and its council endorse the following. That the Minister of the Solicitor General and the Commissioner of the Ontario Provincial Police, as well as the Premier's Office, be requested to make the necessary changes to the Amber Alert system and create a new alert called the Draven Alert, which will protect vulnerable children who have not been abducted but are at high risk of danger, injury, or death, and alert the public that they are missing. And two, that this motion be sent to all municipalities across Ontario and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, for endorsement. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Second one is an application to license the Shore Road Allowance. And it has met approval with our Director of Planning's review. Is there a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by Councillor Viancore, seconded by Councillor Lagasse. Whereas Deborah Helm has submitted an application for license to use a portion of the Shore Road Allowance on her property at 46 Lakeshore Road to add fill at the shoreline. And whereas the Manager of Planning and Development has reviewed this application and recommends to council to approve Deborah Helm's proposal to license a portion of the Shore Road allowance as per the attached application, with a condition that all permits be obtained from the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority, Oceans and Fisheries, and the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, if required, prior to issuing the license. Be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. There's information, and I have a bit of concern with the fact that the item number 4 was held in information, but I'll raise that when we get there. The first item of information, Municipality of Shunya, letter of support regarding the former Mohawk Institute. The second one, Owen Sound, issuing a letter of support regarding removal of municipal councillors under certain prescribed circumstances. Item 3, quite a number of firefighters, 6 of them joining our department, which is a really good thing. Looks to me, just in reviewing them, that somebody did a membership drive at Rushfort's Plumbing and Heating, because a lot of the applicants have a direct connection there. So certainly worked out if that was the case. And then the fourth one, the letter from Christine Rose. I've mentioned this from time to time along the way that quite some time ago, and it was, I think, pre-COVID, there was correspondence from them, Christine, related to her concern with reptiles in the park. And she revisited it with me in person, and I suggested to her that, there's been a new CAO come in and everything since that time. Would you please either resend your letter or write us a new one? So she's done that. And while it is information, it is addressed to council as correspondence. And as such, I thought it should maybe be in correspondence for us to deal with. Having said that, I don't think we have to deal with it tonight, but I would, rather than let it drop off as information for our next meeting, I would put it as correspondence if that meets the favor of council.
It was my understanding we already dealt with this to put it to the next into a bylaw, but the bylaw for the park is only for the dogs in the Kaybuskong Park, and that's it.
Would that conversation have happened at the rec committee or at council? Because I don't remember us discussing it.
recreation.
Probably because that's what the bylaw states. Right now, the bylaw states just for dogs in the park, in a Kaybuskong Park, and dogs are permitted in every other park. From what I understand, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Of our own parks. It's just this park.
Yes,
Or Kaybuskong Park that no dogs. Okay.
for the reptile, yeah.
So
So currently we have no bylaw. That's where we stand on that, so.
okay, was that a motion from recreation that I overlooked then, or was that at the meeting last night?
No, it was at another meeting that we spoke about, yeah.
I believe it
Yes, Councillor Corbett.
was a point of conversation that we had at the Recreation Committee and reviewed the potential concern and looked at it in relation to the bylaw, and it was determined that there was no action required, given that it wasn't explicitly stated in the bylaw. We did, however, take the approach of ensuring that there were signs letting people know that there would be reptiles in the park. That's the position that the committee took.
Okay, so again, I guess just to go back to that then, was it a motion of the committee or was it just a discussion that took place?
It was a
Just
discussion.
Discussion.
Okay. So I guess what I'd suggest then is that to close out the issue and be able to issue a reply to Ms. Rose, that we leave it on the agenda for next council meeting and just vote on it, and then we can issue a letter one way or the other, how it goes, related to her concerns about reptiles in the park. Is that acceptable? Yes, Councillor Lagasse.
In reading the letter, it mentions, it asks to know who is liable for or holds the insurance policy for a mishap if something occurs. Is it possible to get a legal viewpoint between now and our next meeting?
I believe the
Typic-
reptile camp is fully insured. They have fully insured for it, so.
Okay. But at the same time, the concern is not so much the reptile camp itself, but when they're on our property, and who's liable when they're on municipal property. So it wouldn't hurt to ask our insurer if that would be, we've done that with other things related to
I
activities.
guess that
we
would go
do.
for horses too, then.
Yes,
If
unfortunately
it
it
goes for
would.
horses,
Mhm.
then
Yep, we would have to ask.
Even if we talk to our insurance and see, what they think, and is there something that we could do with our insurance to allow these other animals to come in, or I'd just like to know. I'd just like to get the viewpoint of the insurance and a legal advisor, just so make myself comfortable.
I think the point of the letter is that it was asked over 2 years ago, and there's been no direct answer given, and that's one part of it. The other part of it is the concern, but the concern needs to be answered one way or the other with a response to the writer. That's all. Was there another question?
yeah, I
that
did
missed
reply
there?
to Christine. I did reply to her a couple of years ago. She emailed me and I emailed her back
Okay.
and invited her to come and sit at a meeting with us. But
Okay,
she
I
did
wasn't
not
aware of that,
reply to
but-
me, so.
But nonetheless, it's an official, it was a letter to the CAO and members of council, so we'll have to respond to it officially. Yes, Councillor Corbett?
I was just gonna say, I have no problem with Councillor Agassi's request to get some insurance input on it, and even legal advice. That's no problem. Because even from an insurance standpoint, I'm sure if we needed to put a rider on insurance that we're doing for special events, it's probably next to no issue at all. But if that's the due course that our municipality should be taking for those events, it'd be good to know. So I support getting that advice.
Okay. And with our next meeting being a month away, we have lots of time to acquire that response anyway, and then we can draft a appropriate response to the person and close this out. Okay, thank you. New business, there's none. Unfinished business, the 12.1 request to purchase the leased property, there's no report for this meeting. And 12.2, the letter regarding the livestock in the urban area of the municipality. It is the agreement and recommendation of the planning manager that as they suggested, the authors of the letter, they suggested that they would like to see us review that policy in our official plan review, and our planning manager fully agrees that that is something we should do. There's no addendum that I'm aware of, so we're all ready to confirmatory bylaw. I would take there's a motion related to the planning recommendation. I would take a mover and a seconder for it then. That's what I meant earlier when we have to close out these things with an official motion. So, okay, I was violating my own suggestion. Councillor Corbett moves and Councillor Vaillancourt seconds. Whereas the manager of planning and development has reviewed the letter received from Natasha Morino and Timothy Watson regarding the raising of livestock in the hamlet of Bonfield, be it hereby resolved that council accepts the manager's recommendation that these concerns be addressed during the review of the official plan and zoning bylaw. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. So now I'm to confirmatory bylaw. I would take a mover and a seconder for it. Moved by Councillor Foisey, seconded by Councillor Corbett. First, council deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session. Be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council from June 28th, 2022 to July 12th, 2022 be read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered 2022-29, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. All in favor? Carried. Having reached our adjournment, I would take a mover and a seconder for that. Moved by Councillor Legacy, seconded by Councillor Vaillancourt, that this meeting adjourn at 7:32 p.m. All in favor? Thank you. Carried. Have a good evening and a good summer break.
Have a good evening and good summer break too.
Good.
Bye.
Take
Night.
care.
Good night.
We signed those tonight, yeah.